You married the victim's mother?
Yeah, I was married to her, yes.
And what happened?
Well, we separated.
When?
Oh, I don't know, back in 2018.
Why?
Just wasn't gonna work.
Now, it wouldn't be the first time that we have heard a victim, a mother of a victim, sticking with the monster who perpetrated the crime, but we don't know for sure if that was the case in this instant offense, but it sure seems that it was hinted to. Now, this monster, this Ch0m0, he didn't have just one offense, he had multiple. And it was so severe that they sentenced him to 12 years in prison, followed by 10 years of special parole. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, Mandalorians, he ranks out a 2 on the static 99, so he's a low risk to reoffend. Shame on us for thinking anything other than that. Now he's been locked up since 2016, and again, that's the date that he was sentenced, which means the mother didn't break up with him until he was sentenced. Again, just alluding to that fact and how insane that is, of course. But here he is up for parole. Let's see if they grant.
My name is Victor Diaz. My inmate number is 232263.
This hearing is being conducted in consideration for a parole application for Victor Diaz, 232263. He is serving a sentence of 12 years for 10 years of special parole for sexual assault first. As of today's record reflecting the parole eligibility date of December 16, 2024, there is no victim input in this case. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows the finance programs. Sex offender short track voices tier 2 further to violence advance. Utilizing the statewide collaborative offender risk evaluation scores, the offender's overall score for recidivism falls in the high range. It's also a static 99 score of a 2, which falls in the low to moderate range. This is your opportunity to express to the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon. I want to thank the parole board for giving me an opportunity to possibly be granted parole. I want to start off by saying that I am sorry to I and everyone else whom I impacted by my actions. I am 100% sure this will not ever happen again. There is no doubt in my mind about that. I know saying sorry is not enough. One has to show through actions, and that is what I have been doing for the past almost 10 years, and will keep doing after my release. I've learned to be vulnerable by sharing my concerns, fears, and mistakes with families and friends, something that was hard for me to do. I learned to be accountable for my actions and not just have a good intent, because at the end of the day, intent doesn't really matter. People are going to see intent. People are not going to see intent, but my actions will drive how other people perceive me. I don't and won't let intent become my get out of jail free card. I want to focus on what happened, why it happened, and what I can do about it, either now or next time a similar situation arises. If I am granted parole, I want to further seek counseling on a one-on-one basis with help of my caseworker to help me navigate my own childhood traumas in a positive and constructive manner, so I can be the best version of myself as I can possibly be. If I am given the opportunity to be released, I have plans on getting my CDL, start my own business. I have family and friends who are already in the business and are willing to give me a helping hand. I've done a lot of networking, know people who are on a positive track and successful and want me to be successful as well. I have my certificate in business administration. I need a math and managerial accounting to get my associate's degree. I hope and pray that you find it in your hearts here today to grant me parole, to show you through my actions and not intent out there where it really matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Diaz. We're going to begin the questions that we prepared for you with my colleague, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, let me go through a couple of some concerns that I have on all of this, Mr. Diaz. Number one, you rate high to reoffend. Number two, you rate high. In your rating, you rate high to reoffend.
Oh, wow, okay.
This is a serious charge. assault one,
Yes.
serious charge
Yes,
against a minor. You were on
Yes.
special parole
yes.
when you committed this offense.
I was
You've taken programming.
can I clarify something?
Sure.
I was on special parole, but this happened while I was incarcerated. Before that, I had came forward about this. And I was notified while I was incarcerated, and they asked me about the situation, and I took responsibility, and I told them, yes, it's true. And I was released. I went home to a halfway house on parole. And while I was on parole, that's when this came back. The warrant came out or whatever, and I turned myself in, and I'm here.
So you're saying this occurred before you were on special parole?
Yes, years
Yes, sir.
before. Yes,
Offense.
yes,
But you have 2 victims in this. And you have protective orders that are lifetime protective orders to 2099. You have
No,
one victim, but you have one victim with 2 protective orders.
yes, yes.
You're on the lifetime sex offender registry.
Well, I was told 25 years, but
I have it down as lifetime.
Yep, there is no 25 years.
25 years.
okay.
You've got 2 unsuccessful community releases. You have a prior history that includes 2 assault cases, assault second.
Yes.
I mean, just everything that I've read really concerns me. That's not to say you haven't taken programming, because I can see you've taken some programming. But
I've been here almost 10 years, and I've done a lot of changing while I've been here. I've had a lot of time to think about and change my behaviors and the things that I was doing back then, and changing all those ways that I was in a positive manner. Since I've been here, I've had no disciplinary reports.
I see that.
I've done everything, as far as trying to just better myself, not being so angry all the time at everything. I'm more calm now when it comes to like my anger issues and stuff like that.
How did you get caught up in this?
Excuse me, sir?
How did you get caught up in this?
To be honest, it was poor decision making at the time. And that's all there's no excuse for my actions. What I did was wrong. And all I can do is just be better. Get out there and just be better. Go out there and just strive, do everything I can to be as transparent as I can be, as authentic as I can be, and just go out there and be the best human being as I can be. That's all I can do. I gotta find ways to give it back to the community. I know I effed up, but
No.
that's definitely not gonna happen again. That's for sure. I know that for a fact.
So I'm glad you're taking some programmings, but I will tell you that I am very challenged by the nature of this offense, and also by the fact of your history. You have an extensive history with assaults and stuff that really concern me. So
these situations won't be happening again. So whether you
listen, for your sake, I hope not. I hope not for the sake of any possible victims that could be out there. What's your feeling about the victim in this now? What do you think that victim is? What do you think the victim is going through now? What do you think the impact has been of your behavior on this victim?
I mean, I can only imagine. I can't really speak for the victim, but I know I've changed her. Maybe she can't trust someone. I don't know. I can only imagine.
Well, you took the Voices program, sir.
Yeah.
How did that not help you get some insight into the impact of your crime on this child?
Well, I can only imagine, her not being able to trust someone because of my things that I've done,
Nothing else other than trust.
Yeah.
I mean, all I know is that it's not gonna happen again. That's all I know. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna be the best version of myself as I can be. That's all I can tell you is I know I'm not going out there and I know I'm not gonna mess up. That's what I know.
Well, you know, I wish you the best of luck, Sarah, but I'm gonna pass it on to my colleagues and,
Councilmember Barry?
Yeah, so Mr. Diaz, one of the things that I realized in reviewing your file is that you really, okay. The language that you used to describe your offense, was troubling to me. You used things like, when you were being evaluated for treatment, for sex offender treatment, you told the counselor that you take responsibility for whatever happened, and that's why you're in prison. And then when Officer Williams interviewed you in preparation for today's hearing,
Yes.
you said that you had an encounter with a minor, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah, I have it.
It was more than an encounter with the minor.
Well, because the reason I say, because I, you know, it's uncomfortable for me to speak about it. So I try to, you know, it's embarrassing and I'm shameful about it, you know, so it's hard for me to speak about it. Because it's shameful.
Well, when they're asking you when someone asks you, what did you do? I would expect you to say what you did. And even if it's embarrassing, you can still say, I engaged in inappropriate sexual contact with a minor. Not I had a situation with a minor.
Encounter.
Encounter,
it's
yes.
like you met her.
Yes.
And why did I read, I think it was in the pre-sentencing investigation that you married the victim's mother?
Yeah, I was married to her, yes.
And what happened?
Well, we separated.
When?
Oh, I don't know, back in 2018,
Why?
just wasn't gonna work.
Does she still forgive you?
Excuse me?
Does she still forgive you?
I don't know. I haven't seen her, so I wouldn't know. I don't know.
You know,
This was hard for, you know, it was hard on her also, you know,
right.
to be with me in a situation like that.
How many of your children are female?
I have one daughter.
And what does she think about your behaviors? Does she know what you did to this victim?
That's something that I have not spoke to her about yet, that I had to deal with upon my release.
So does she know why she's in prison?
I'm not sure yet. I believe her mother kind of shielded her from that because she didn't want her, you know. But
How old is your daughter?
my daughter's 17 years old now.
And how would you feel if someone did it to your daughter?
I would be upset.
And what would you say if one of your children, one of your male children, did this to another female?
I would be upset also.
And so what's interesting to me is, I mean, I understand that this transpired a long time ago, but when did you go from being father-like figure to she is attracted to her?
I don't know. I do not know how this transpired. I just know that I just poor decision making on my part. I should have, you know, got out of the situation, walked out of there, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, you should, but this didn't happen just
And I
one
didn't.
time.
And it
It
just,
didn't happen just once. But
No.
the first time that you kissed her, you knew that was wrong, right?
yes, yes.
So why did you do it?
And I told her this was wrong.
So why did you have her touching you and you continued to perform fellatio and you guys were just whopping fluids?
Yeah, there's no excuse for my actions. I can't sit here and try to make an excuse for that. There's no excuse
So
for my actions.
how can you then say that you're 100% certain that this will never happen?
Because I know that for sure. I'm 100% sure.
You
I'm
can't
gonna get
provide
out
us
there
with
and this is
information
never
that's
gonna
a-
happen again.
But
I
you
know that
can't-
for a fact.
Okay, but you can't tell us why you did what you did in the first place, sir.
It's not that I can't tell you, it's just that there was no excuse for me to do what I did. It was.
We're
I
not
shouldn't have
looking
done
for
it.
an excuse, sir. We're looking for an explanation. Can you tell us why you violated this child over a year period of time?
It could have been from my own abuse that I dealt with as a child that maybe came back up. I don't know.
It could have been, but you don't know.
You took the short track. What did you learn from the short track? The short track sex offender program. You took that, didn't you?
Yes.
So what did you learn from that? Did you gain anything from that?
No, what I learned from it is that you need to, be responsible, take accountability for your actions. That's what I learned from that.
But I think you already knew that you had to be responsible and take responsibility for your actions. I mean,
I
What's
understand.
difficult for us, Mr. Diaz, is that you're guaranteeing us that you will never do this again. And even if this did happen to you as a child, which my sincere condolence, I don't wish this upon any child.
Right.
But knowing what you've experienced because of it, one would think that that would be.
I would have thought.
Can you let her finish her statement, please?
Yes, ma'am.
One would think that it would be something to prevent you from ever causing that kind of pain to another child. And if I'm reading correctly, this was someone you guys were peers. It was your stepbrother, not father-daughter. There's a big difference.
Yes.
Tremendous. So therefore, I'm saying to you, Mr. Diaz, there's something else that is underlying that made you feel that this behavior was okay. And it was more than this happening to just yourself. And you don't know the reason why it happened, which is why you need to continue to engage treatment. Because eventually you will figure it out. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully I can engage in treatment once somebody.
You will. I believe that you will. You have 10 years of special parole. You got a long time to go. So, but I'm all set. Thank you, sir.
Okay, that ends the questions, Mr. Diaz. Give us just a few minutes to discuss. Please don't interrupt.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Rodriguez, you
thank you, Madam
began.
Chair. Obviously, Mr. D has taken some programming, but I'm having a hard time reconciling to what he's gotten from the program that he's taken. He's taking voices, but I didn't hear a lot of insight around the issue with victims and current victims. And he takes the short track and just limited insight into like his behavior and what he's gotten. I'm struggling with. I'm not finding his suitability at this point. So I hear from my colleagues, but I'm not there yet.
Panel member Barry.
Well, Mr. Diaz, honestly, I think he came in here thinking that this was going to be a and we ask the tough questions that people really do not want to answer. And sometimes they may not appreciate our approach, but we really are trying to, when a person says, I accept responsibility, okay, and what does that responsibility look like? And it's going to be more than just, I accept it, we did. So I realized that he wasn't able to answer our questions the way that we would have liked to. However, he's been down for a number of years. He's completed the programs that he was supposed to participate in. His last disciplinary infraction was in 2013. He is going to continue to engage in treatment when he's out in the communities on the sex offender registry.
Live, yeah, he is for life.
Yes, 10 years of special parole to follow his sentence. So he's going to be very closely monitored for a very long time. And we're talking about he's eligible in
December.
Oh, that passed already. But he's done in about a year. So I think that he's put forth an effort to demonstrate some change. He may not be able to articulate any of it, but I would support his discussion.
I appreciate your generosity of spirit, panel member Barry. You know, when we ask individuals about the programs that they participated in and what they got out of them, you know, it's how we measure, in part, change. And I can appreciate Mr. Diaz's reluctance to discuss the details of this protracted period of sexually violating a child, and the grooming that he engaged in to do it, which we didn't even touch on. But, you know, I'm tremendously disappointed that we couldn't hear more from him about how the programs have helped him with insight, with change, and this bravado of it'll never happen again and 100% guarantee, you know, that has to be coupled with an ability to explain why in the first place you committed this crime. It wasn't a one and done. I mean, this child was damaged over a period of time. And, you know, for me to have confidence that the programs have helped and that you really have an ability to not reoffend, I'm looking for the insight, and I don't hear it. And you know, so that makes me really question giving him a year's head start out in the community on discretionary parole before he begins 10 years of special parole. So
You can answer our questions as to why. Just imagine when the victim, if they were asked why you choose why. Or anyway.
yeah,
It's tough. It's tough.
you know, it's a very mixed picture, because he apologized at sentencing, he accepted responsibility at police interview, but still we don't know, and nor is he willing to, I think, do the deep dive to figure out why he would make this choice, as you pointed out, as a survivor of child sexual abuse himself. He does have 2 standing criminal protective orders against him and lifetime on the sex offender registry. Officer Williams, this is not a Brenton Garner case, is it?
I think
Yeah, it is. It says it is.
Yeah, because the
Okay.
dates were there.
This happened in 2012, yeah. So
Can you tell me his actual end of sentence? I mean, I see it a couple of different places. Whether it is September of 20,
October 1st, 26.
this is 9/30. Yep. I did double check with OVS because the father of the victim was so involved in the case, and I wanted to make sure that he was given full opportunity to participate. And she assured me the outreach has been done.
After 2026, October.
Yeah.
But that's for the max out.
Okay. I will support the discretionary parole release for the additional time to, or the opportunity to get a head start on additional programming.
It's a sex-offender program in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I would reconsider having heard both of you.
Well, I'm not sure I was persuasive. So I have mental health evaluation and treatment, problem sexual behavior treatment, no minors, halfway house, and no contact with victim AA or her family. Was do we need a pornography stip or a device monitoring? Was any of that something?
Nothing that was.
Okay, how about alcohol?
That is actually now.
Okay. So in the matter of Victor Diaz, inmate number 232263, there is a motion to grant parole on or after today's date of July 29th, 2025, with the following conditions for your discretionary and special parole supervision. You're to be placed in a halfway house. You're to engage in problem sexual behavior treatment in the community. You are to have no contact with minors, and you're to have a mental health evaluation and treatment as deemed necessary, and no contact with the victim, AA, or her family. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries.
This concludes the hearing for Victor Diaz, 232263.
Good luck, sir. We got a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
Now, this makes zero sense. Why does it make zero sense? It's because he has 10 years special parole baked into his sentence. When he gets out, he is going to be monitored by a parole officer for a decade. You see, sometimes we see them talk their way into a parole grant because they say, man, he has a flat sentence from the judge. We don't want him to just get out there and have no supervision, have no benefit of a halfway house or just a parole officer watching them, making sure they're not on their phone doing something wrong. We want to make sure they have supervision. But in this case, they release him a year early, even though he has 10 years baked in parole supervision. It makes no sense. They talk themselves into something that makes no sense. And if you need any more of a clearer picture that there is an agenda in the Department of Corrections, the state of Connecticut, the parole board, who's handpicked by the governor, an agenda to empty their prisons, to send back dangerous criminals, monsters, predators back into the street. This is the proof. Because there's no logical answer. He failed his parole hearing. He utterly failed it. And yet he earns freedom a year early. It's unbelievable. You know, when Miss Turner said to Barry, I appreciate your generosity of spirit. I thought, man, Turner's not going to fall for this. Turner's going to, I like that. I appreciate your generosity of spirit. But we have to say no. He's done nothing to prove it. And he's got 10 years supervision anyways. But, Connecticut, they like to talk about how great the parole is. They like to talk about how wonderful this system is in Connecticut. They're lower incarceration rates than the other states. But this is why. They just empty the prisons. They empty them so that they can talk about what a great system they have. Now, I have a feeling we're going to see this man back. We'll see him in the return of playlist on a revocation. There's no way he's staying out for 10 years. He's done nothing in prison. They hinted to a lot of things in this parole hearing, like how the mother of the victim stayed with him, and the mother of the victim still loved him. They hinted at it. I don't have any information. There are no news articles on this. There's nothing, but I think that that's what they were alluding to. And we see that all the time. These monsters find women with children, and they know. They do it on purpose. They know who they can prey on. And we've seen it all the time where the mother stays with the monster. He tries to fall into, oh, it happened to me. And it's like, shut up. This is something that you planned out. This is something you strategized about. This is something you dreamt about. This is something that you went and found a woman with a child that the age of your desire, so you could do everything that you wanted to do. This was a long thought out plan. This was not, and he's going to go and do it again. You know, there's not, again, there's nothing, I don't believe anything he said about him admitting to something, getting released, getting locked back up. I don't believe any of that, but I can't, there's nothing I can say, really. I don't have information. You know, the only other thing that we can talk about is how he's a static 99 score of 2, a low risk to reoffend, and 2 still high. I mean, usually they have 0. But we all know the static 99 is a joke. It's a gimmick. It's a tool that's sick. And I can't wait for the day that the world realizes it. The world outside of our little corner of YouTube realizes that we have been releasing the worst vile creatures back into the streets using the most pathetic static 99 test system created by 2 people, a British and a Canadian, who just sell teaching programs and make money, profit millions on selling the education on how to use a static 99 to our prison system. And it takes anyone with a couple of brain cells to rub together to know that these aren't low risk offenders. How many victims does he have, huh? Low risk. Psychotic. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see him back in the return of playlist, so don't worry. He's going to violate. And with that, I'll let you go.